Mindfulness 24 by 7. Thousands of teachers are there. Thousands of messages by these teachers. One teacher says you have to practice it regularly. Other says there is no need to practice. You only need to understand it. Understanding is the knowledge. Knowledge is awareness. Awareness is your experience. But they all talk of the same principle. What is that principle? The world appears, but it is not true because everything is changing. The world outside appears constantly changing. It is not permanent. The name and the form is constantly changing, like the mirage water. So now see what happens to our mind. As far as the water, mirage water is concerned, we have a tremendous faith in the mind that it is false, it is not there. But when the teacher says the world also appears, it is false, we don't believe it. What is the proof? Proof is our anxiety, our desire, our demand, our expectation. So sometimes we keep the intense desire inside, the demand inside, and outside, we say, no, I already understand that. So there is a problem of understanding. Did you understand that? The world appears real, but it is not true. The water in the mirage appears real, but it is not true. We have a tremendous faith in the water, mirage water, but not in the world, not in the words of a teacher. So Master now teaches that the faith is required. Faith in the teacher, yes, in the beginning, because that teacher brings the knowledge from the traditional wisdom. But what is faith? We distort even the understanding of the faith. You are practicing regularly. After a few days of the practice, the mind says, practice little more. No, practice for a longer period. The next day in the morning, you wake up and the whole day your mind is contemplating and reflecting the world is unreal. It appears true. That is faith. Faith is not that you have a faith on the guy whose body and who is also changing. Faith in the teacher means the faith in the knowledge that is settled in your mind. Then only we awaken. Then I have already done. I do the regular practice. And during the practice, the mind disturbs you 100 times. You're not doing any practice. You're not contemplating. You're not assimilating the knowledge. So when we have that faith, with that understanding, the mind follows, we don't need any practice. We need only an understanding that pure consciousness is my nature, it is my essential nature. In all the interactions in the world, that state of the consciousness is maintained in the mind. You are free from all the stress and the suffering. You are in the state of mindfulness. There is a story that story tells us that how our mind distorts the knowledge passed on from a teacher to a student. And that is why it takes a long time. A seeker went to a guru in the forest. Master taught him everything is God. Is tree God? Yes. It's a manifestation of God. Mosquito is God? Yes. Everything is God. The master explained to him that how everything is manifestation of the God. So while returning to his village, he found a guy who warned him, don't follow this road. Tiger is there. Tiger will kill you. No, everything is God. Everything is God. Where is the problem? You see how the mind distorts the knowledge. Pay attention to this.
Pay attention to this.
Sir?
Sir?
Okay, I have muted. So he did not listen to the advice of that guy. He was passing through and he found a tiger. Tiger hurt him. Anyhow, he saved his life. The next day he returned to the master. He saw a lot of stitches and what happened? Tiger, master knew it, but master wanted to teach him. What happened? No, tiger attacked. You told me, you gave me the first teaching that everything is God. You see what happens to the mind? What the master replied? Master said, you crazy guy, when the guy warned you not to follow that path, that guy was also God. That guy was the God. If the tiger is God, the first warning came from the guy. You did not listen to that God. This is what happens with the mind. And when that happens with the mind, then we continue the journey. Why this happens? We are understanding. Saturday's session is about non-practice. It is all about understanding. So I've already explained about the faith. So you see that? What happened to the mind? The mind identify with the situation, with the people, with the place, with the event, with the time. Why? Because there is a desire in the mind about the world that is unreal. Why? Because we find, okay, in the teaching session, everything is okay, the world is unreal. But the moment the mind, that session is done, the mind says, no, world is real. We forget. Forgetfulness is ignorance. Honey, as long as I am in meditation, I am in peace and happiness, but now the session comes to an end. Now I am ready to fight with you. Situation, people, place. This is what happens to our daily life. Faith. See that? Identification. Why it is happening? Because I identify myself with the word. Moment there is an identification. Why we identify? Because there is a desire inside. Desire for happiness in the world. Desire to eat food is okay. Desire to wear the clothes is okay. Desire to earn without craziness is okay. Everything is okay. See that? It is the same sense organs which perceives the mirror as water. It is the same sense organ which perceives the world as real. The moment this identification is there, we have a desire, we have demand, we have expectation. The mind bombards with all kinds of the thought, results into fear, frustration, and failure. And ultimately, we claim that we have an extreme anxiety. To remove that subtle identification, good. Only choice is that you have to listen to the teacher again and again and again and again. Until that learning, until that listening creates a faith in your mind and you recognize the world is unreal. All the transactions are done by the false I and I'm the real I. All the transactions by an actor in the Hollywood, all the transactions, unreal. He returns to himself after acting, playing in a plot, in a scene. See that. I know something. I do not so know. I do not know something. I know Sam and I do not know Sam. So in both the cases, that I is the real I. That real I. That real I is consciousness behind the mind. But mind says I know it or I don't know it. Mind says this is real and this is unreal. The mind identifies with the world as real, the desire, the demand, the expectation, followed by blame, complaint, failure, frustration. The whole chain begins. How to understand that? Easy to understand. That is what the metaphor is here. The canvas remains the same. You start the canvas. Starts the canvas. From where the wave originates from the water. It originates from the same water. But after the wave has been originated or created, we see the waves. But what exactly is the wave? Wave is still the water. Who created the wave? No one. It came out from the water. So that is the start. And then the subtle mind comes, the reflected consciousness. The reflected consciousness is the mind. Take a simple example. I see you. How I see you? By eyes, supported by the mind. So when I say I see you, eyes, mind, consciousness. Clear? I see you. Eyes, mind, consciousness from outside to inside. I hear you. Ears, mind, consciousness. I touch you. No, I should not touch you, otherwise you'll be offended. But I'm just giving an example that touch, skin, mind, consciousness. I smell, nose, mind. What is the common factor? Common factor is the mind. One, and behind the common factor that never changes is the consciousness. You see, the delusion is created. It is the consciousness of the sound. It is the consciousness of the touch. It is the consciousness of the perception, sight. It is the consciousness of the smell. It is the consciousness of the taste. Remove the consciousness. We don't hear, we don't see, we don't touch. Instrument, like a car. These five sense organs are like a car. The mind processes that information, but in the absence of the consciousness, there is nothing. So that consciousness is the canvas. Because that first consciousness, borrowed by the mind divides into five. So we see the five different perceptions, objects, people, situation in the world. But you go back, return, you find one consciousness. What to do? Don't do anything. Recognize here and now. So again, the student asks in this text that what to do? You have not to do anything. Don't ask this question. It is a wrong question. Why it is a wrong question? The mind always learns things in terms of what is to be done. The moment the mind thinks in terms of a doership, the very doership hides that consciousness, the real self. Now the mind claims, I am the real self. Do whatever you want to do. Do you understand that? Consciousness or awareness. Don't ask me how to become aware. You are listening, you are already aware. Nobody can explain you how to be aware. Are you listening to me? Yes. In the field of awareness, you are listening. In the field of awareness, you are watching. How to know the space? The space is already there. Because of that space, my body exists. So the master says, don't ask that question what to do and how to do. There is nothing to be done. You are here and now. You are aware. So now that very I, if the I sits in the world outside, you have a desire, full of desires. If the I sits in the sense organs becomes the doer, ready to get attached. If the I sits in the mind, it creates a false I. If the I sits in the consciousness, it merges together. We realize that we are consciousness. So after listening to that, what happens now? Where is the problem? There is an error in the perception. There is an error in the perception. In my perception. The world outside remains beautiful. But because of error in perception, this world becomes ugly, people becomes different. Do you see that? The world becomes ugly because there is an error in perception. Error in perception is known as ignorance. We don't say that ignorance is illiteracy. Ignorance, I claim what is not real as real. That is why I claim this world is ugly. Why? Because I am sitting in the world. That I-ness. Where is sitting? Because of long list attachment, duality. So the master gives one simple principle. Anything that is changes, anything that is changing is not real. So the world outside is changing, perceived by the sense organs are changing, processed by the mind itself is changing. What is left is the consciousness. We are pure consciousness, we are the real self. I have to know it. I have not to practice to know it. Because even when I practice, it is in the field of awareness. If awareness is not there, I cannot do the practice. See that? I cannot move if the space is not there, but the space is independent of my body. Do you see that? I gave you an example. What do you see? Now I see my hand. No, you don't see the hand. You see the light falling on the hand. That's how you recognize it's a hand. Did you understand that? That light is independent of the hand. Hand is not there, light is still there. Consciousness is always there. Always there. At all time, in all situation, in all conditions, in all relationship. So we have only to understand what is behind. We need to just be an awareness. I told you all the five sense organs perceive different objects, but behind there is only one consciousness. You contemplate and reflect on this. I see, I hear, I touch. It is only one consciousness. But I forget in the sense of the touch. I receive a pleasure experienced by the mind. I forget what is real. I'm engaged in the world. Mind says, Miss Universe gone. I love this Miss Universe. Can I get married? You see, all the world, sense organ, and the mind are playing with us. Fact is that there is no Miss Universe or Mr. Universe. It's a mirage water. So when I see that as a mirage water, that very attraction and attachment and duality and a conflict all are gone. Now I can tell you that. Yeah, this week I asked a young, promising, intelligent man that yoga is $88 billion industry. Do you want a pie out of it? Yes, I want a pie. So my eye is sitting in the world. Let me work. Let me earn. That's a different thing. But if the eye keeps sitting in the world, then I'm very calculative. I throw crazy questions to understand. Understand. Contemplate on one question. What is the difference between the consciousness of sound and the consciousness of a taste, consciousness of seeing you and the consciousness of smell? Is it not like water is one and you have different waves? And in all the waves there is the same water. One water I say is small, so that may be a perception. Another wave is of sense of touch. Third wave is sense of hearing, and etc. But all are still water. One Upanishad, we are going to learn that Upanishad. One Upanishad says, it is not the water, but in the water. It is not your eyes, it is in the eyes. It is not in the taste, it is not the taste, but it is in the taste. Can you find it? Can science find it? No. Science can only find what is objective, what is material. Look at it. Understand it. Just be aware. It is it is not the thought, it is in the thought. It is not the mind, it is in the mind. It is none of these sense organs, but it is present in all the sense organs. It is not the body, it is in the body. That's why I can raise my hand. I can move, I can speak. Do you see that? Do you see that? What a beauty. It is not the water, but it is in the water. It is not the thought, but it is in every thought. Independent. What is that independent? Consciousness. Why it is independent? It is not changing. So what is changing then? What is that which is changing? It is unreal. Should I reject unreal? No. I should continue to live into that constantly changing world. Because body is also changing, mind is changing. Let me live in the world. With awareness of the unchanging is the state of mindfulness 24 by 7. See this simple, you are looking at me. Okay, look at me. Now look at who is looking at me. So that looking, it means you were aware of me. Now you are aware of your eyes because that eyes are looking at me. Now look at who looks at your eyes. It is the mind. The mind is, no, you are looking at my eyes because my eyes are beautiful. No, you have to go deep inside. Who is looking at your eyes? Oh, my mind is looking at my. So it is just an awareness. And who is looking at the mind? It is the consciousness. We are there. Now the world is real. So I find the Miss Universe is real because now I forget who is looking at the Miss Universe behind my eyes. So my eyes have become, senses have become I-ness because that I is sitting in the sense organs. That is a false I. See, look at it. So you recognize when you step back, I look at you, okay, I. So that I is sitting in the sense organ that claims I'm looking at you because without eyes I cannot see you. So that I is now. Okay, now I want to know who is looking at my eyes. These two senses. So I become aware of the mind is looking at my eye. Because of the mind I am aware of the eyes. But who is looking at the mind? Consciousness. Nothing. How dare your mind can be distracted? You're not fighting, you're not rejecting, you're not suppressing any thought, you're not controlling anything. You know the world as it is, which is unreal, appears real, and where that world that is unreal stands, it is standing on the consciousness. It is standing on the consciousness. Remove that consciousness. There is no world, there is no mind, there is no senses. That is how our masters have found out that consciousness is the ultimate reality, unchanging, all pervading, omniscient, omnipotent, that we know here and now. We don't need any practice because we are not covering a distance. We don't need a time. When the mind wants to do anything, it demands a time and it demands a space, a distance to travel. Behind the mind, that consciousness is present everywhere, all the time, in all the things. That is another way to understand this metaphor. When the canvas, you have canvas only one, that oneness is never destroyed. You have a reflected consciousness, the mind with the entire world on the canvas means painting. You have the trees, you have the ocean, you have the mountains, and you have the people, a lot of people, you have the kids, everything. The outside, the painted canvas is nothing but the world that manifests on the mind, but the canvas remains the same. So when the mind experiences something within us that is unchanging, all pervading, one consciousness, that we live, we think, we speak in that state of mindfulness 24/7. Last point, the many attracts. One, we forget one. There is only one consciousness. Then the mind is constantly changing. Like if the water is moving because of the wind, the sun reflected in that appears different. And that mind sends its consciousness, borrowed consciousness, to the five sense organs. Five sense organs, every sense organ has millions of objects. So the world appears outside as many, but fact is that there is only one consciousness on which the entire world depends, manifest. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed, you are aware. When I say that close your eyes, so we are in a mode of non practice. We want to explore, or your mind is saying, I will explore each and every statement that you speak. So I speak, close your eyes. Behind, so that consciousness is not closing the eyes, but it is present inside. Simple understanding. Position of the body. Inside the position of the body, it is the same consciousness. You can adjust the position of the body. But you have not created a doer, the I-ness. Otherwise, this I-ness say, I have done the practice for 5 years, no result, you are a crazy teacher. Okay, I can see. I may agree with you if you are not a seeker. Neck joint. How do I know the neck joint? Yes, through the mind. Okay, no problem. And how the mind knows it? If the mind is aware, it knows it. If the mind is not aware, can it know it? No. So awareness is present in the mind? Yes. Is awareness is the property of the mind? No. Oh, it is that awareness is consciousness. You get a byproduct. When you look at the neck joint, you experience the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. That is the journey in the very beginning. For the beginners, it is good to have an experience of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. From where this experience lives, it is in the mind. But how do I know it? Because of awareness. So the seeker who understands and enters into the state of the mindfulness, not only he experiences or she experiences the state of comfort, sensation and steadiness, but he also, I believe you understand, he also is aware of the consciousness by which he experiences sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Can we say it is a discernment? Yes, discernment happens in the mind. We separated. But again, the mind says you separated. It means you are doing a practice. No, it's not a practice. Who is doing the practice? There is no I. Let's see that. That is the process. That is the way we understand. Look at the shoulder joints, the shoulder joint. Look. That look is awareness. So the mind is habituated to see the world outside and claim it is real. That is why we have a beautiful principle. The world appears real as a mirage water. It appears true. We have superimposed. Who? You. But who is this you? Mind. Why? Because of ignorance, because of error in perception. So you play with it, sensation, comfort, and steadiness in the shoulder joints. Who is aware of that? That is what we are searching for. The entire body, entire body. 5 years ago, the body. 10 years ago, the body. When you were only 5 years old, the body. Ask the mind to confirm that body is constantly changing. It is the same mind which says, no, I'm the body. I don't want to change. But body is changing, so the problem will remain there. I believe you understand that point. We bring the knowledge in the field of awareness. What I said when you were 5 years old, 10 years, 15 years, our bodies have changed a lot. But the mind says, I am the body for all practical purposes. So when I am the body, I don't want to change. Why? Because I'm scared of the death. And long list. So am I contradicting the very nature of the existence? Yes. So when you contradict the existence, you are bound to have conflict and problem and so on and so forth. No one is able to contradict and reject the existence. That is the way. So when I say look at the body, you are aware of the body. You are aware of each and every cell of the body which is constantly changing. Body is given to me for manifestation of that real self. And then looking at the breath, so it is not the breath, but it is present in the breath. Because it is present in the breath, that's why I know the breath is going in and out. The breath doesn't tell you that I'm going in and out. Pay attention. We just need an understanding. Yes, that seems to be true if your mind says that yes, breath does not tell me that I'm going in and out. I make you feel the sensation, or I do not change the rate and the rhythm of the breath. No, no, no. It is knowledge. So, what is knowledge? Who tells me? Where the knowledge of it takes place, it is in the mind, it is in the field of awareness. So you keep looking at the breath casually, do not focus on it, but behind you know. Where do you know? It is not the breath, but it is in the breath. It is within the breath. So when it is within the breath and you are aware, it means that I is not sitting in the body, I is not sitting in the sense organs, I is not sitting in the breath. You are already free. You experience the sense of freedom. That is why our masters declare that mindfulness or meditation is a non practice. It is a state of extraordinary awareness. When you see that I'm not the breath, but I'm inside the breath, you're dropping the identification with the breath. I'm not the body, but I'm in the body. That's why the body can move, body can bring about a change. They feel the sensation, yes, sensation of sound, listening to you, very good. And there is another sensation, some feeling in the skin, inside and outside. Sensation on the skin is your experience. Experience takes place in the mind through the skin. Can I say sensation? I look back, I go to the skin, I go back and I see the mind. I go back. You see, from many to one. Yeah, we are aware of the body means I feel the sensation in the body. So it is the mind that understands the limit of the body from the top of the head to the toes. I'm saying just you are aware of the body, that's okay. You feel the sensation, that is okay. But the sensation is the experience in the mind coming through the skin in the mind. We are just looking what is inside, what is the ultimate cause. So our master declares that ultimate cause is the consciousness. Nothing more, nothing less. So the moment I start speaking to you, so my sound, then go back to your ears, go back to the mind. The mind has a knowledge and understanding, and then go back to the consciousness. Shanti. You heard Om Shanti. The word struck to the ears, to the mind. Mind says Om is pure consciousness manifesting peace. Then beyond the mind, you're there. Let us see. Om, Om, Shanti. Knowledge should take place. Om Shanti. We're enjoying the taste that we can even go to our real nature, even through the five sense organs. Anything and everything in the world that appears to exist, in it, within it, it is. So when we do it with clarity, when we are understanding, Clarity is there. Clarity is there, yes. We don't need to practice. In the field of awareness, there is an awareness of the sound, ears, mind, and Shanti. I'm not asking you to do repeat it or practice it. I'm just asking you to be aware of it, to know. Shanti. When the eye is sitting in the ears and it hears the sound that you don't like, because the liking and disliking is already present in the mind, then what happens? You say, someone disturbed my meditation, this sound, this fire station. And it's, no, I was not, I was feeling hot in the room, so that's why it disturbed my meditation. How dare you say that? Why you say that? Because you are sitting in these sense organs. As long as you are sitting in these sense organs, no one can help you succeed, even if you sit in meditation for 3 hours every day. Don't sit with where everything is changing. Don't sit in the world. So you remove the likes and dislikes of the sound and the touch and the skin and the perception. Your perception becomes virgin. Okay? The senses are purified. So who is looking at the senses? The mind. Mind is purified. Okay, but who is looking at the mind? Consciousness. I'm there. Here and now. Without any, I'm specifically saying, don't get obsessed that I'm practicing. I have to practice. Not at all. even the dependence is not there, because that consciousness does not depend on the teacher outside, does not depend on the sound or the sight or the taste or the smell or the likes and dislikes. We have and experience a sense of freedom. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms, know your experiences, and bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. How are you, Stephen?
Good. Thank you. Very interesting lesson. I enjoyed the mind, the pure consciousness mind, and the senses examples. It made me start to contemplate and reflect on my own interpretation of perception and reality that I have on a daily basis with people. In fact, it was this morning that we talked about a text message that, I talked about perception and reality, and I'm actually wrong about it all, because the person who wrote it has their own perception, the person who reads it has their own perception, and the only reality is pure consciousness, not the actual message itself. So Yeah, so that whole thing is going on inside my head, and during your talk, and then as we went into meditation, it started out really quiet, and I wasn't. I heard you, but I don't think I was actually paying attention because I was just going into this deep space, and then all of a sudden, thoughts popped in and visions popped in, and I immediately discerned it and said, this is mind causing another perception. I want pure consciousness. And I kept going into this deep meditation, and then the mind started messing with me, but I was completely aware of it and wouldn't allow it to overtake what I was doing. So it's nice.
Beautiful. You see that? You see that? And you had such a beautiful example that there are two perceptions of the same text message. So if we inquire whether these two perceptions are true or not. So these perceptions are based on the mind with some likes and dislikes, with some preference, with some desire, with some demand, and behind that there is only one consciousness. So even if you think like this, one thing is clear, that now you don't discriminate, if I use the word. You don't discriminate while living in the world. But you see what is right perception, you remove the right perception. You remove the error in perception. So what is left? You remove the error in perception, pure consciousness. So I will add one more thing. At the center, pure consciousness, then you have the mind, then you have the five sense organs, then the respective objects of these five sense organs. That is the fourth aspect. And once you get out of it, you will find that the mind undergoes a tremendous transformation. Wonderful. What happened? Okay, so now let me go to Sam. How are you, Sam?
It was good. Really appreciated the lesson, and the meditation was just a pure blankness.
Yeah, very good. Yes, but what Stephen was saying, that we should settle into that knowledge, is very important. So in that space, when we settle into that knowledge, it takes us deeper. How are you, Vaibhav?
So I'm good. It's like that sitting behind the mind and seeing that everything is same. When it comes to something different, it's only acknowledged by the mind only. Behind that, everything is same. So it was calm, peaceful.
Calm, peaceful, yes. Yes, we should have a right understanding. That's what I'm stressing here on Saturday's session. We have an error in perception, and the error is not there. The moment the error is not there, we find there is a one reality. And when we live with that one reality, that is nothing but the mindfulness 24/7. How are you, Ashok?
Good there, peaceful and quiet.
Yes, peaceful.
Yes, peacefully.
I could see your
I
face,
could see your face,
but I'm muting.
but I'm muting.
Your, I've already muted. Yes. How are you, Brandy?
I'm good, thank you. I was reflecting somewhat in my meditation about experience I had in the middle of the night. I got up to use the bathroom and I got back in bed and I was awake. But I was so quiet and I don't know how long I was in that state, but it occurred to me that my mind wasn't doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was I had this. It was the realization, and so I kind of played with that during my meditation today because it was similarly quiet, but my mind wanted to be involved, and I was like, no, right? You can just be in the space without involving feedback from the mind or even perception from the sense organs. I don't know.
Yes, 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 you're right. So if we pick up the same thing, understanding the consciousness is at the center, and then what appears the mind, on the mind what appears the sense organ, what appears on the sense organ are the objects. So what that objects to all together constitute, it is the world, and that word is unreal. Why it is unreal? Because it is constantly changing. So I see the entire scheme, the ultimate cause. So I live into that extraordinary awareness, and that is what it is. How are you, Samir?
Sir, it was very free flowing. Means I was just lying down, and it was the awareness was moving in my body. I was listening to you, and it was very quiet.
Good, good.
But sir, sometimes in the daytimes, sometimes awareness is on the upper side. Sometimes the old impressions are on the upper side. We keep on means it happens during the. I just keep on contemplating. Most of the times it goes with contemplations. Sometimes you have to practice, and then it
Yes,
happens.
during the day it takes time, it's not one day affair. That when we constantly. No, that's what I told about the faith. Faith is not that you believe, I believe you, and you have you have failed me in meditation. No, you don't believe any person. The faith means you are doing a practice. I think I explained today. You are doing a practice, and one day the mind says, can I do little more? Can I do it for a longer period? Can I be committed? Can I be regular? It comes to you have that insight. That insight is known as the faith. Why should I believe you? Don't believe me, believe yourself. So when you believe yourself, that is the real faith, and that goes a long way. So he's right, during the days I miss it. Obviously, we will miss it. Why we miss it? If you explain why we miss it, it is because where the I is sitting. I is sitting in the world, I will miss it. I is sitting in the sense organ, I will miss it. I is sitting in the mind, I will miss it. I is sitting in the consciousness, there is no missing. Very good, my friends, and that is all for today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.